Welcome to Rise Through Time, the channel where history's biggest mysteries meet real evidence. Today we explore the lost civilizations that didn't just decline, they disappeared completely. Hit subscribe and tap the bell icon because we bring deep, fact-based historical documentaries every week. In archaeology, disappearance is rare. Civilizations usually fall slowly through war, famine, or migration. But a few societies collapsed so quickly with such little trace that even modern historians can't fully explain why. Today, we uncover 5 real civilizations that vanished, backed by archaeological evidence and scientific research. First up is Cahokia, America's forgotten ancient city. Located near present-day St. Louis, Cahokia was the largest pre-Columbian city in all of North America. At its peak around the year 1100, it was a bustling metropolis with a population of over 20,000 people. To put that in perspective, Cahokia was larger than London was at the same time. The people of Cahokia built massive earthen mounds, some reaching 10 stories high, that served as platforms for temples, elite residences, and public ceremonies. They even constructed a sophisticated solar calendar made of wooden posts, now known as Woodhenge, which they used to track the seasons and solstices with incredible accuracy. Their trade networks were vast, stretching from the Great Lakes all the way down to the Gulf Coast, bringing in copper, shells, and other exotic goods. But then, something strange happened. Around the year 1350, the entire city was abandoned. The plazas fell silent, the mounds were left to nature, and the population vanished. What could have caused such a sudden collapse? Archaeologists have several evidence-based theories. One leading idea is environmental collapse. The city's inhabitants cut down huge numbers of trees for construction and fuel, leading to massive deforestation. This could have caused soil erosion and made the area more vulnerable to the powerful floods of the nearby Mississippi River. Another theory points to political breakdown, as resources like food and wood became scarce. Internal conflicts may have erupted, leading to social chaos and the eventual abandonment of the city. But the biggest mystery remains. Where did all the people go? We have found no clear evidence of a mass migration to another single location, leaving us to wonder why this incredible city was deserted so abruptly. Next, we journey to the American Southwest to uncover the mystery of the ancestral Pueblones, sometimes known as the Anasazi. These people were master architects who built breathtaking stone cities right into the cliff sides of the Four Corners region. Sites like Mesa Verde in Colorado and Chaco Canyon in New Mexico are testaments to their incredible engineering skills. Their multi-story dwellings, built with precisely cut stones, show a level of sophistication that continues to astound visitors today. What makes their story so shocking is how their civilization ended. Around the year 1300, they completely abandoned all of their settlements. And when I say abandoned, I mean it looks like they just got up and walked away. Homes were left intact. Beautifully crafted pottery was still sitting in storage rooms. In some cases, even food supplies were left untouched. It's as if they expected to return, but never did. So, what happened? Archaeological evidence points to a combination of factors. Tree ring data confirms that the region suffered a devastating 50-year drought, which would have made farming nearly impossible. This, combined with the overuse of farmland over centuries, likely led to severe food shortages. It's believed that the people migrated in smaller groups to more fertile areas like the Rio Grande Valley and the Hopi Mesas. In fact, many modern Pueblo peoples trace their ancestry back to these ancient cliff dwellers. So they didn't go extinct, but their entire cultural center collapsed with shocking speed, leaving behind one of America's most profound archaeological mysteries. Now, let's travel further back in time to meet the Olmec, the mother culture of Mesoamerica. Flourishing from around 1500 to 400 BCE, the Olmec are considered the first major civilization of the Americas, predating even the Maya and the Aztecs. They were innovators who laid the groundwork for many cultures that followed. Their most famous creations are the colossal stone heads, massive sculptures weighing up to 60 tons, with incredibly detailed and realistic facial features. We still don't know exactly how they carved and transported these monumental stones without metal tools or the wheel. The Olmec also developed one of the earliest forms of hieroglyphic writing in the Americas, created advanced drainage systems for their cities, and devised complex calendar systems that would later be adopted and refined by the Maya. But after a millennium of cultural dominance, around 400 BCE, their great cities of San Lorenzo and La Venta were suddenly abandoned and their culture vanished. The causes are still hotly debated. One strong theory involves natural disasters. Geologists have found layers of silt and volcanic ash in the soil, suggesting that a series of volcanic eruptions may have covered their farmland, making it unusable. Other evidence points to major rivers changing their course, which would have destroyed their agricultural base and disrupted their trade routes. Of course, internal political collapse is always a possibility, perhaps triggered by these environmental pressures. The disappearance of the Olmec is so complete that historians still argue whether their society simply dissolved, its people migrated and scattered, or if they were gradually absorbed by the emerging cultures around them. Let's return to North America to explore the Mississippian civilization. This wasn't just a single city, but a vast continent-wide cultural network that thrived from about 800 to 1600 CE, stretching from Wisconsin all the way down to Florida. The Mississippians were known for building enormous pyramid-like mounds, which served as the centers of their political and religious life. They established extensive trade systems that covered thousands of miles, connecting diverse groups across the continent. Their society was organized into complex chiefdoms, with powerful leaders ruling from centralized urban centers. Yet, starting around the year 1500, this vibrant network of cities began to collapse, almost everywhere at once. What could have brought down such a widespread and successful culture? The most supported theories point to a combination of devastating factors. Climate data reveals that this period saw a series of mega droughts across North America, which would have crippled their corn-based agriculture. Another compelling theory suggests the spread of new diseases. Some genetic and archaeological data indicate that diseases may have arrived in the Americas and spread inland even before major European contact, decimating populations that had no immunity. Finally, the strain of these environmental and health crises likely led to internal instability and warfare within the large chiefdoms. Their disappearance wasn't a single event, but a widespread and relatively rapid decline across their entire cultural zone. Finally, we come to one of America's oldest and most famous cold cases, the lost colony of Roanoke. In 1587, a group of 118 English men, women, and children founded a colony on Roanoke Island off the coast of modern-day North Carolina. The colony's governor, John White, sailed back to England for supplies, but his return was delayed for 3 long years by a war between England and Spain. When he finally made it back in 1590, he found the settlement completely deserted. Every single person had vanished. The clues left behind only deepened the mystery. There were no bodies and no signs of a struggle or battle. The only message was a single word carved into a wooden post, "Crotot." The houses and fortifications had been carefully dismantled, not destroyed, suggesting the colonists left in an orderly fashion. The leading theory is that they assimilated with the nearby Croatoan tribe, who were known to be friendly. Perhaps facing starvation or the threat of attack, they chose to join the local people for survival. Other theories suggest they were wiped out by a violent storm or attempted to sail back to England on their own and were lost at sea. Modern DNA studies are trying to trace their genetic lineage among local populations. But for now, the exact fate of the Roanoke colonists remains an unsolved historical puzzle. These lost civilizations weren't myth or legend. They were real societies with real achievements. Their sudden disappearance challenges what we think we know about human history. If you learned something new today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon. Tell us in the comments which lost civilization should we explore next. This is Rise Through Time, bringing history back to life.